that.
Under anarchism or under the present
Well, under
government?
anarchism, it might happen under anarchism too. I don't know.
Oh, the other security services would have those tanks with guided missiles?
I mean, it would depend on the people, I guess, if you're talking about what's been...
What business is it of theirs? They don't care about the security services only care about protecting their clients, right?
Sure.
So if some criminal gang buys a tank with guided missiles, they're not going to
Why not? What if it's...
go to war with them?
Well,
Or they would go to war with them?
I don't know. I mean, if you're supposed to protect your clients... And
No, I mean, they should protect their clients, but this criminal gang isn't going to attack one of their clients.
Okay.
It will pick off the weaker links, the ones that are not associated with a security service, or that are associated with a security service that doesn't have only has guns, for example. So the point is that under anarchism, criminal gangs, I'm talking about people dedicated to predation, they're incentivized to increase their firepower because that increases the amount of victims that they can expropriate money from, right?
But this happens now.
No, it doesn't. No criminal gangs have any tanks with guided missiles.
Well, you don't even. I mean, in the way that the United States is right now, you don't need guided missiles if you're a criminal gang. I mean, that's not even necessary. It's not practical.
I
mean, what are they going to do? Unless you're talking about.
I'm talking about increased. No, if you had under an anarchist society, you have a tank with guided missiles. Before, you could only expropriate money from people with your guns, and that's a limited pool of potential victims. Mm-hmm. If you have a tank, all you have to do is send a note to Michael Greco and say, listen, give me all you have, or I'm going to bomb you with my guided missile. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do then if you are not protected by a particular security agency?
You should have been with a security agency, I guess.
But before you agreed that everybody would not be with a security agency. Some would not.
It's like I said, you're not going to come up with every answer to every problem. And I don't think that we have an answer to this now. I mean, we're just talking about the United States, or we're talking about all governments of the world. There's other people in places in other governments that there are organizations that have missile weapons.
No, I know that, but I'm talking about the United States is where we're proposing to change our system to an anarchist system.
But I don't know if there's other people in the United States that are criminal organizations that might have this type of stuff and haven't used it.
Oh, you think there are some criminal gangs that have tanks with guided missiles?
Not tanks, but missiles. Yes, I mean we've known that there's people that have.
Well, but they don't have tanks with guided missiles where they can threaten and extort. They don't send extortion notes to people because everybody in principle is protected by the government. The first note that they send, the person would notify the government. The government would be on their ass immediately, and they would be in jail. So that's why they don't do it. But under anarchism, there is no government. So if the person isn't a client of a security agency, he has no protection against this kind of extortion. Even if he thinks, oh, I'm an anarchist, I got a lot of guns and I'm ready, I got my property mined and I'm really prepared, and attack me if you want. They just send you a little note, and you either pay or they blow you up.
I mean, like I said, that if you're living in a voluntary society, you're good. I mean, these are the things. I mean, that's a very extreme example. Is it possible to happen in an anarchist society? Absolutely. But I mean, if you're living
I'm saying there's an incentive. There's an incentive to increase your potential victims by having more firepower. Right now, there's no incentive for that. That's the whole point.
Okay. I mean, like I said, if you're saying there's an incentive to increasing your firepower, I don't know why you would think that these other... Your argument is not that, if you were part... Like you said, your argument is that, well, what are you going to do about the people that chose not to be part of a security agency? I don't know. Like I said, if it's a voluntary society, they voluntarily chose to do that. I can't say anything else to that. I wouldn't do that because I think it's stupid. I don't think that the law should require you to wear a seatbelt when you're driving the car, but I do because I know what happens if you don't. But that's a voluntary. I think it should be voluntary.
Okay, well, let's talk about these security agencies.
Okay.
Would any of them have nuclear weapons?
I don't know. Why would they need them? Wouldn't it be? Why would you need nuclear weapons when, if you're protecting? Well, first of all, we don't know in the future, in this hypothetical world, these security agencies, how big is this area they're protecting? Are there just little hamlets? Is it a whole state? I don't know.
Well, that's right. There could
Even
be
if-
there can be all sorts of security agencies, big ones,